Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Arunachal and these are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Equity mutual fund inflows rise 3% in August as SIP contribution hits a record high of more than 23,500 crore rupees. Large caps back in vogue as inflows rise nearly fourfold. Hybrid funds see a decline in appetite along with debt funds, which saw a 62% decline in August. 67% of Indian bankers expect current and savings deposit growth to slow further, according to a survey by the Banks Association and industry body FICCI. Majority expect credit growth to remain stable. 52% expect bad loans to stabilize in the next 6 months, but flag agri, textiles and MSME among potential sectors where stress may rise. A bank based in United Arab Emirates is interested in buying stake in an Indian bank, says the UAE ambassador to India. CNBC TV 18 had reported, citing sources on the 1st of August, that Emirates NBD is among the suitors for IDBI Bank. Tata Motors announces discounts on electric vehicles and ICE vehicles as the festive season sale kicks off with rising inventory. Maruti and Toyota bet big on hybrid vehicles as the industry remains hopeful about strong sales growth in the coming weeks. Congress makes fresh allegations of willful concealment against SEBI chief Madhvi Puri Butch. Claims her husband received nearly 5 crore rupees from Mahindra and Mahindra in a 3-year period when SEBI issued 4 orders in matters related to the conglomerate. M&M terms the charges false and misleading, says Dhaval Butch was hired by the group in 2019 for his expertise in supply chain and sourcing. More than 1,000 workers at Samsung's plant near Chennai are on strike for the second day. Demand increase in wages and recognition of the workers' union. Sources say more than 50% of the plant's workers are on strike currently. Government notifies major changes to highway toll collection rules, moves towards electronic toll collection through satellite-based system. Users will pay based on the distance they cover, no toll charge for up to 20 kilometers. The U.S. House of Representatives passes a new law to restrict biotech imports from China by 2032. The move represents an opportunity for Indian pharma companies to fill the gap in supply. Violence flares up in Manipur as 7 people are dead in the last 2 days. State imposes a curfew across 3 districts. Mobile and broadband internet services suspended until the 15th of September. Tech giant Apple loses a 10-year court battle in Europe over its tax affairs in Ireland. Court orders Dublin to recover more than $14 billion in tax dues. Europe's top court also upholds a penalty of nearly $3 billion imposed on Google for abusing market dominance in the search business. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But first up, the day's market action. Dalal Street extended gains with Nifty and Sensex ending nearly 0.5% higher. Nifty was back above the 25,000 mark. Mid-caps outperformed the blue chips with the index ending over 1% in the green. Mutual fund investors turned towards large caps in August as inflows rose nearly fourfold compared to the previous month. This comes even as inflows into mid-cap and small-cap funds remained steady. Investments through SIPs were also strong, hitting all-time highs of over 23,500 crore rupees. However, hybrid funds witnessed a decline in appetite as inflows fell 42% month-on-month. Debt schemes saw inflows decline 62% in August. The latest banking survey by FICCI and IBA highlights the continued resilience of the Indian economy and banking sector, but also warned of looming liquidity concerns. The 22 banks which participated in the survey highlighted a key issue. They pointed out that with credit growth outstripping deposit growth, banks are facing pressure to raise deposits while keeping credit costs low. Ritu Singh is here with the key highlights of the report. Ritu?
Well, the latest FICCI IBA Bankers Survey delivers 2 key takeaways. Number 1, customer deposits are declining, particularly among public sector banks, and that is causing concerns on the liquidity front. And number 2, bad loans are stabilizing, but there are sectors which are starting to show signs of stress. Now, banks are feeling the pressure to boost deposits while managing their cost, which is one of the key issues that has been raised by the 22 participating banks that together account for 67% of the banking industry's assets. A notable shift was seen in the CASA, or the current account savings account deposits, where the majority of respondents reported a decrease in the share of CASA deposits, with public sector banks being the hardest hit. Only 24% of the banks said there was an increase in CASA deposits and 10% reported no change compared to the previous round. On bad loans, the findings offered a positive outlook. 71% of respondents reported a decline in NPAs, with public sector banks leading this trend, but there were 10% of the banks which noted an increase compared to the last survey. The textile sector emerged as the most affected, 77% of the banks identifying that as a key concern, and other sectors with high NPA levels included infrastructure, food processing and engineering goods. Now, going forward, the banking industry is optimistic about the credit growth outlook. Nearly a third of the respondents expect credit growth to be in the range of 14 to 16%, while 33% anticipate growth between 12 and 14%. Now, that number compares to about 15% kind of growth that the system is currently seeing. On the bad loan front, 52% of the bankers expect gross NPA ratios to stabilize between 2.5% to 3% in the next 6 months, while 19% predict it may fall further to 2 to 2.5%, but challenges do remain. The survey says sectors like agriculture, textiles and MSMEs particularly are expected to see an increase in NPAs in the coming months, indicating areas of potential stress for the banking industry.
Right, Ritu, many thanks for those details. Now, the Reserve Bank of India has imposed monetary penalties on Axis Bank and HDFC Bank. RBI imposed a penalty of nearly 2 crore rupees on Axis Bank for violating the Banking Regulation Act by opening savings accounts in the name of ineligible entities. RBI said Axis Bank is also non-compliant with certain directions on interest rates, KYC and credit flow to agriculture. RBI also imposed a 1 crore rupee penalty on HDFC Bank. RBI said that the bank was not compliant with certain directions on interest rate on deposits, recovery agents engaged by banks and customer service. UAE's ambassador to India has said that an Abu Dhabi-based bank is in talks to acquire stake in an Indian bank. Speaking to CNBC TV 18, the ambassador said that the investment will be in billions of dollars. This comes after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan signed 5 MOUs during the prince's visit to Delhi yesterday. CNBC TV 18 had reported on the 1st of August, citing sources, that Emirates NBD is among the suitors for IDBI Bank.
There is a UAE-based bank that is very keen on acquiring a share in an Indian-based bank. We have a major port company that has been a major player here in India. And all of those topics and all of those matters have been discussed yesterday.
Well, the one point which we didn't know in the media was that you all were even looking for taking stake in a bank. Any names?
I can't disclose names, obviously, because this would, in one way or the other, might impact the market when it comes to this. So I really can't. But we were actually discussing something that needs to be sorted out for this to go ahead. It's a major investment. The amount that we're talking about is in the billions of dollars.
Jewelry retailer PN Gills' 1,100 crore rupee IPO was fully subscribed within 4 hours of opening on day 1 of subscription today. The issue has been subscribed 2 times over so far, driven by continued strong demand from retail investors. Now, the first day of subscription also saw strong demand from non-institutional investors, with that segment being booked 3.26 times over. The jewelry retailer plans to use proceeds from the issue to set up 12 new stores across Maharashtra and repayment of debt. The share sale will conclude on the 12th of September. A Kenyan court has suspended a $2 billion deal between the country's government and Adani Airport Holdings until it rules on the matter. The deal allows Adani to operate Kenya's Nairobi airport for 30 years. A slew of petitioners, including the Kenya Human Rights Commission, have argued that leasing the profitable airport to a private entity is irrational and unconstitutional. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a new bill to restrict biotech imports from China by 2032. The act has named 5 Chinese companies to whom the act will prohibit the U.S. government from contracting with or providing grants to. Now, the bill will now need to be approved by the U.S. Senate to become law. The law will present an opportunity for Indian pharma companies to fill the gap in supply. The annual convention of the Society of Indian Automobile Makers has kicked off in the national capital. The industry is entering the festive season with rising inventory and is dishing out discounts to spur sales. Union Ministers Nitin Gadkari and H.D. Kumaraswamy kicked off the summit. Tata Motors has cut the prices of its electric vehicles by up to 3 lakh rupees. Yesterday, it announced price cuts for ICE vehicles by up to 2 lakh rupees. Tata Motors has also called on the government to provide subsidy for medium and heavy-duty commercial vehicles under the FAME scheme. Maruti and Toyota are betting big on hybrid cars as the industry remains hopeful of strong sales growth this festive season.
GST collection is 3 lakh crore and we are expecting more also. We are not going to increase the taxes, but we are expecting your turnover will be more. Today they have taken a decision for giving 3% discount on purchase of new vehicle and people who scrap their vehicle. So because of your decision, I am really thankful to you. And this 3% is not maximum. This is minimum. You can take the decision to giving more discount than that is depending upon you. I'm not going to insist for that.
We are now looking at FAME 3 being rolled out, and we are also expecting as a commercial vehicle industry that the FAME 3 also includes N2 and N3 trucks, because it was limited to N1 category, which is up to 3.5 tons. We want N2 and N3, which is light, medium, heavy, to be included. We also want private buses to be included. And since for long distance haulage, I think hydrogen internal combustion engine is a good technology. Maybe we are also requesting the government to include this in the FAME incentive.
Be the market leader, give all the technology offering to the customer and let the customer decide. That's what we are trying to do, being the market leader. Now, coming to the hybrid, yes, the share of business of hybrid is going up as compared to the EV. You all know that hybrids are now, customers are preferring it. We are presently offering the strong hybrid only in 2 models. That is the Grand Vitara and the Invicto. So of that total sales, it is 16%.
We believe that there is no one single technology, be it hybrid, be BEV, that can address this overriding national goals. So as Toyota, we will continue to prioritize a multi-pathway wherein on top of complementing BEV, we believe in the role of hybrid electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, electrified flexi-fuel vehicles and biofuel vehicles, and all of them we believe will have a significant contribution towards 2030.
Chinese electric vehicle maker BYD has raised its annual sales forecast courtesy a surge in purchase of plug-in hybrid vehicles. Now, the EV giant has upped its annual target to 4 million units. This compares to a previous guidance of around 3.6 million units. The positive outlook comes on the back of Chinese consumers flocking to buy EVs and hybrids in bigger numbers. Prime Minister Modi met semiconductor executives from around the world ahead of the Semicon India Summit, which kicks off tomorrow. Prime Minister will inaugurate the summit tomorrow, which aims to position India as a global hub for semiconductor design, manufacturing and technology development. The government has notified major changes to highway toll collection rules. The new rules will allow users to pay based on the distance they cover with no toll charge for up to 20 kilometers. Abhimanyu Sharma is here with more. Abhimanyu, what rules has the government implemented so far?
Global Navigation Satellite System On-Board Unit. That's the biggest change in the new toll collection regime, which has been initiated by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways in a fresh notification which has been issued by the ministry. The way toll fees and toll taxes collected is going to change across the country. Now users will have to pay only the toll for the length of the road they have traveled. This is stated to reduce jams, bottlenecks on highways with respect to traffic, and also possibly lesser confusion with respect to altercations and arguments which often happen with local residents and villagers over use of toll roads which are connecting nearby settlements. Under the new regime, this GPS unit would be fitted into every vehicle, and based on that itself, the toll fees would be collected in a change from the current system in which the toll fees used to be collected only at a toll booth for the entire road ahead, irrespective of the fact whether the vehicle used to traverse the entire road or not. Also, there would be a dedicated lane for such GPS fitted units, and any vehicle which is not compliant with the latest system will have to pay double the fees if at all it uses the compliant lane.
Right, Abhimanyu, many thanks for those details. Now, the Congress party has made fresh allegations of willful concealment against SEBI chief Madhavi Puri Butch. Addressing a press conference, party spokesperson N. Pawan Khera claims SEBI chief's husband received nearly 5 crore rupees from Mahindra and Mahindra between 2019 to 2022. During this period, SEBI issued 5 orders in matters related to the conglomerate. Congress also alleged that Butch's consultancy firm, Agora Advisories, received income from M&M, Dr. Reddy's Lab, Pidilite, ICICI Bank and 2 other organizations while she was holding positions in the market regulator.
She earned through Agora 2 crore 95 lakh rupees between 2016-17, 19-20 and 23-24. All this while, she was whole-time member initially and then she became the chairperson of SEBI. अब आप पूछेंगे वो कौन सी कंपनीज हैं? नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ये जो मैंने आपको फिगर दिया 2 करोड़ 95 लाख का, ये कमाया गया महिंद्रा एंड महिंद्रा लिमिटेड, डॉक्टर रेड्डीज, पिडिलाइट, आईसीआईसीआई, सेम्बकॉर्प और विसु लीजिंग एंड फाइनेंस. सबसे ज्यादा 88%, ये जो 2 करोड़ 95 लाख का 88% महिंद्रा एंड महिंद्रा से कमाया गया, उनसे लिया गया, अघोरा ने लिया. द हस्बैंड ऑफ सेबी चेयरपर्सन माधवी पुरी जी, द हस्बैंड इज धवल बुच साहब, he got 4 crore 78 lakh rupees from Mahindra and Mahindra group between 2019 and 2021.
Mahindra Group has responded to the allegations made by the Congress party, calling it false and misleading. The company said Dhaval Butch was appointed to the board of a group company in 2019 before Madhavi Puri Butch was appointed as the SEBI chairperson. Dr. Reddy's has termed the allegations baseless and malified. The pharma company did admit that Dhaval Butch was employed with the company and his assignment ended well before Madhavi Puri Butch began her term as SEBI chairperson. Pidilite Industries also issued a statement. The company said that it engages with multiple partners who are renowned in their respective fields. Pidilite said it engaged Dhaval Butch in FY20, calling him a globally renowned supply chain and procurement professional. On that note, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up on India Business Hour, more than 1,000 workers at Samsung's plant near Chennai are on strike for the second day. More details on that in just a bit. You can also catch all CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. Welcome back. iPhone maker Apple has lost a decade-old legal battle with the European Commission over tax issues in Ireland. Europe's top court held the Commission's 2016 ruling that ordered Ireland to recover over $14 billion in back taxes from Apple. Back then, the Commission had said that Apple had received illegal tax benefits from Ireland over the course of 2 decades. Meanwhile, Europe's top court has upheld a penalty of nearly $3 billion imposed on Google for abusing market dominance in the search business. The original decision in 2017 accused the Silicon Valley giant of unfairly directing visitors to its own Google shopping service to the detriment of competitors. In a statement, Google said that it was disappointed with the decision of the court. Australia is planning to restrict children and teenagers from accessing social media platforms. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said that his government will bring the legislation in Parliament by the end of this year. The government will likely launch an age verification trial before tabling the bill. However, the contours of the legislation are still unknown. Operations at the Samsung plant on the outskirts of Chennai were halted for a second straight day as employees staged a strike demanding higher wages. The workers' demands also include reduced work hours and recognition of the employees' union. The South Korean tech giant said that it is actively engaged in resolving the issue with employees. Jude Sanith reports from the protest site.
Well, I'll take you through just where the discussions stand in a bit, but let me give you a semblance of where I am from. We're roughly located 1.5 kilometers away from the Samsung plant. This is Sriperumbudur, Chennai's manufacturing capital. And right behind me are 1,500 employees and workers from the Samsung plant in the vicinity who have been staging a protest since yesterday. What we're bringing to you are day 2 of the protest here in Sriperumbudur. The demands are simple. Wage revision. The average stands at 25,000 rupees per month in terms of wages. These employees want it revised to up to 36,000 rupees per month. The second revision, or the second demand really, is the recognition of the Samsung India Workers Union, backed of course by the Centre of Indian Trade Unions as a recognized union within the Samsung plant itself. I'm joined by Mr. Sukumaran, who is the General Secretary of the Tamil Nadu chapter of SITU. Just to summarize what Mr. Sukumaran is saying, underlining the importance of that wage revision and recognizing the union, so to speak, which was formed in July, saying that if these steps were achieved earlier, this may not have come to be today. So some key demands there really from these 1,500 workers. Remember, this constitutes 85% of the total labor strength at the Samsung plant, which has brought operations to a near halt. We should also summarize to you the fact that the head of the Samsung India Workers Union, is presently also in discussions. E. Muthukumar is in discussions with top management at the plant, and these discussions are going underway to bring a speedy completion to day 2 of the Samsung India strike here in Sriperumbudur.
Amid renewed violence in Manipur, a total curfew has been imposed in Imphal West, Imphal East and Thubal districts. The curfew, which was effective from 11 a.m. today, was imposed in 3 districts a day after student protests demanding the restoration of peace in the strife-torn state rocked Imphal Valley. As per the order, the movement of persons belonging to essential services such as health, municipal officials, power, petrol pumps, functioning of courts and media personnel would be exempted from the curfew. Protesting junior doctors in Kolkata defied the Supreme Court's directive to join duties by 5 p.m. today. The protesters have said that they will continue with their agitation till their demands are fulfilled and the rape and murder victim of the RG Kar hospital was given justice. The doctors have called for the resignation of the state's health secretary and director of health education. The BJP has released its second list of candidates for the upcoming Haryana Assembly polls. The ruling party has fielded Captain Yogesh Bairagi from Julana. He will face wrestling champion Vinesh Fogart, who recently made her political debut by joining the Congress. BJP has dropped 6 sitting MLAs, including Banwari Lal from Bawal and Seema Trika from Badkal. So far, the party has announced candidates for 87 out of the 90 assembly seats. Credit card companies and payment aggregators who enable cross-border transactions may soon have to bear higher compliance costs. Sources say that the Financial Action Task Force is considering tightening disclosure norms to curb money laundering and terror financing. Timsi Jaipuria has all of those details. Timsi?
Well, globally, credit card transactions and online transactions could soon come with more disclosures. What we are picking up from sources is that the FATF mechanism is likely to push for greater transparency and compliance to combat money laundering and terror financing via online transactions and cards. Remember, FATF is a mechanism that has been adopted by all the countries across the globe to ensure that there are measures in place to combat terror financing and money laundering. And if this mechanism approves this particular recommendation, then this could mean more disclosures in terms of recipient name, banking channel details, Aadhaar card or any other identification details, payment gateway used, what was the source of income, and much more. Currently, when it comes to what is India's stand on this global forum, well, India is in favor of pushing for greater transparency in transactions, more disclosures without compromising privacy, pace of transaction, and keeping the business interest intact without hiking any cost of compliance. To be precise, Indian government and RBI are both pitching for greater mandatory disclosures by all the countries on this FATF mechanism with exchange of information. Industry players, meanwhile, such as Visa, MasterCard, payment aggregators, etc., are putting in their dissent. They are signaling a pushback and thus want more industry consultations at the FATF forum, which is likely to happen in India in Mumbai, April 2025, where industry concerns will be put in place before this standard becomes a mandatory norm and a law across the globe. Back to you.
So, Timsi there with the latest on that. But CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechury has been admitted to the intensive care unit for an acute respiratory tract infection. Yechury was admitted at AIIMS, Delhi last month. The party said that Yechury's condition is critical and he has been put on respiratory support. The race to the White House is heating up. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will face off for the first time for a presidential debate on TV in Philadelphia. This will be Trump's 7th appearance in a national election debate, making him the most experienced presidential candidate debater in American history. The last presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump ended in a disaster for Biden. His weak performance led him to end his re-election bid weeks later. While Harris has made abortion rights and support to Ukraine central to her campaign, Trump will likely attack Harris and the Democrats over immigration, taxes, and high cost of living. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Many thanks for watching, but the news continues right here on CNBC TV 18.